What would you do if you weren't afraid? It seems like a simple question, but behind it lies one of the most powerful keys to unlocking your true potential. Fear is like that giant shadow cast by something small. It can seem enormous, but often it just needs a new perspective to be faced. In this video, we'll explore not just how to face your fears, but how to transform them into fuel for the life you've always wanted to live. Get ready for 5 practical and surprisingly transformative strategies that will reprogram your mind and help you use fear as a springboard to success. So, the question, what would you do if you weren't afraid, is powerful, capable of provoking deep reflections on what is really holding us back from achieving our dreams. Fear, we all feel it. Whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or even success, it has the power to paralyze our actions and keep us stuck in a comfort zone that often doesn't satisfy us. In this video, we'll explore practical and effective ways to transform fear into fuel for success. You'll discover how to reprogram your mindset, overcome limiting beliefs, and use fear as an ally on your journey of self-discovery and personal achievement. The protective side of fear. Did you know that fear is actually a tool created by nature to protect us? But over the centuries, it has gone from saving us from hungry lions to holding us back in job interviews. Think of fear as a fire alarm that goes off even when you're just cooking pasta. It wants to alert you to something important, but it doesn't always understand the context. The good news? You can adjust this alarm to work in your favor. If fear is a tool, imagine what happens when you learn to use it the right way. Personal connection. Recognizing fear as something universal. Imagine this scenario. You're about to start a new project or make an important decision, but a feeling of anxiety takes over. It's almost as if something is holding you back, preventing you from taking the next step. That something is fear, and you're not alone. Everyone faces this challenge. The difference lies in how we deal with it. When I was starting my own journey, I also felt paralyzed by fear. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. It was only when I decided to face these emotions head-on that I realized the true potential of fear. It can be transformed into a powerful engine, driving you to action. Why this video is important now. We live in an era where fear is amplified by various factors: economic uncertainties, social pressure, and an avalanche of information that often makes us feel inadequate. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't have to be the villain in your story. It can become the hero. This video is a practical and reflective guide to help you see fear in a new light, not as an obstacle, but as a tool. What to expect in this video? Here's the plan. We'll break this topic down into 5 main points. Each will address a specific strategy for dealing with fear, combining practical explanations, everyday examples, and reflective exercises that you can apply immediately. We'll also share inspiring teachings from philosophies like Stoicism, Buddhism, and positive psychology, all adapted to the modern context. Get ready to learn how to identify and face your fears effectively. Transform fear into motivation for bold actions. Develop emotional resilience for challenging moments. Use fear as a tool for creativity and growth. Embrace calculated risks to achieve greater goals. While you watch, think of something specific that's scaring you right now. It could be a professional goal, a relationship, or even a lifestyle change. Comment below. What is the biggest fear you want to overcome today? Let's build a supportive community here in the comments to share experiences and achievements. Are you ready to transform your fear into fuel? Let's get started. The first step, facing your fears. We all know that facing our fears isn't easy, but it's the essential first step to turning them into something positive. Here, we'll explore 3 practical ways to deal with your fears and start building a healthy relationship with them. Reframe fear as curiosity. Next time you feel fear, swap the question, what if something goes wrong? For What can I learn from this? Practical example. Before an important presentation, imagine yourself as an explorer entering unknown territory. What skills will you discover? What surprises await you? After all, even great explorers had fears. But they didn't let it stop them from discovering things like continents or, in Columbus's case, the most successful geographical mistake in history. Identify your fear triggers. Before facing any fear, you need to know exactly what's triggering it. Often, the fears we experience don't come from a real threat, but from specific thoughts or situations that awaken deep insecurities. Practical example. Suppose you're afraid of public speaking. When do you feel most anxious? Is it when you're on stage or before, during preparation? Identifying these moments helps you understand where to focus your efforts. Inspire yourself. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not things that scare us, but our view of them." Reflection exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down the 3 biggest fears you feel right now. Then, for each fear, write down what exactly triggers it. It could be a situation, a thought, or even a memory. This will help make them more concrete and less abstract. Challenge your fear. Now that you've identified the triggers, the next step is to question the validity of the fear. Is it as rational as it seems? Often, our fears are based on assumptions that have never been truly tested. Practical strategy. Ask yourself questions like, what's the worst that could happen? And does this really have a significant chance of happening? By exposing the flaws in your thoughts, you reduce the emotional impact that fear has. Practical example. Imagine you're afraid of failing when starting a new business. Ask yourself, if I fail, what can I learn from it? Or what resources or people can I turn to in order to minimize the risks? Inspire yourself. As Buddha taught, fear does not prevent death. It prevents life. Important reflection exercise. Choose one of the fears you listed earlier. Write down 3 reasons why it might be irrational or exaggerated. Then, note 1 small practical action you can take to face it. Embrace discomfort. The truth is, growth happens outside our comfort zone. Feeling fear is actually a sign that you're challenging yourself and moving towards something significant. Instead of avoiding discomfort, try embracing it as part of the process. Practical strategy. Reframe the feeling of fear as an indicator of progress. Whenever you feel that knot in your stomach, remind yourself, this means you're on the right path. Practical example. Think of an athlete who feels fear before a big competition. They don't ignore the fear. They use the adrenaline to intensify their focus and performance. Inspire yourself. Lao Tzu in Taoism said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Reflection exercise. Try something small but uncomfortable this week. It could be initiating a difficult conversation or trying something new that you've always avoided. Afterward, reflect on how you felt before, during, and after the experience. When was the last time you faced something that scared you? How was that experience? Comment below so we can share stories and learn together. Remember, every small step counts, transforming fear into motivation. Fear doesn't have to be just something that paralyzes. It can be a driving force that propels us into bold and decisive actions. This topic explores how to change your perspective on fear and use it as fuel to achieve your goals. Reframe fear. Reframing is the practice of changing how you interpret a situation. When you face fear, you can choose to see it as a barrier or as a sign that something important is about to happen. Important practical strategy. Whenever you feel fear, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Or how can I turn this feeling into something useful? Practical example. Imagine you feel fear before presenting an idea in a meeting. Use this energy to prepare even more and turn nervousness into enthusiasm. Inspire yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, reflection exercise. Write down a recent situation where you felt fear. Then, reflect on how you could have used that emotion as a warning or motivation to act more effectively. Set achievable goals. Big goals can be intimidatingly scary. A powerful way to manage fear is to break them down into smaller, more achievable goals. This reduces the fear of the unknown and makes progress tangible. Practical strategy. For each big goal, create a plan with smaller steps. Set realistic deadlines for these steps and celebrate each achievement along the way. Practical example. Suppose you dream of starting a business but are paralyzed by the fear of failure. Instead of trying to start a business all at once, begin with small steps. Research the market, talk to experts, and test your idea on a small scale. Inspire yourself, Confucius said. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying small stones. Reflection exercise. Take a big goal you have and break it down into at least 5 smaller steps. Put each step on your calendar as a commitment. Visualize success. The human mind has an incredible power. It doesn't fully distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. Visualizing yourself achieving your goals helps create an emotional connection to the desired outcome, making it more tangible and motivating. Practical strategy. Spend a few minutes each day imagining how it will feel to achieve your goals. Include as many details as possible: where you'll be, who will be with you, and how you'll feel. Practical example. If you want to pass an exam, visualize yourself entering the exam room, feeling calm and prepared, and then celebrating your success with loved ones. Inspire yourself. Walt Disney said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." Reflection exercise. Do a visualization exercise today. Choose a specific goal and write about what you see, hear, and feel when you achieve it. What is your biggest goal right now? What can you do today to turn the fear of failure into a concrete step towards that goal? Share in the comments, and let's support you on this journey. The brain of the future you has already overcome this. Did you know that, according to science, our brain is naturally optimistic? It tends to imagine a future you who is more confident, more capable, and who looks back at today's fears as small obstacles overcome. This means you have a powerful ally, your own tomorrow's you, who is already more prepared and resilient. And spoiler, they're cheering for you. If the future you believes in you, why are you still doubting? Developing resilience to fear. Building emotional resilience is essential for facing the challenges that fear presents. This topic addresses how to develop the ability to deal with fear in a healthy way, strengthening your confidence and capacity for overcoming. Make peace with discomfort. All growth requires a bit of discomfort, but guess what? That's where the magic happens. Practical example. Think of an actor who feels that knot in their stomach before stepping on stage. Instead of avoiding it, they embrace it as part of the show. And in the end, it's exactly these moments that create unforgettable performances. Discomfort is like a new shoe eat first. It pinches. Then it becomes your favorite pair for any adventure. The reptilian brain is sabotaging you. Your brain has a primitive part called the reptilian brain, which basically lives in 10,000 BC and thinks any novelty could be a predator in disguise. So, when facing something new like changing jobs or learning a new skill, it screams, "Danger!" The secret is to show that the predator is just a PowerPoint. Now that you know there's a dinosaur in control, it's time to take the wheel. Use fear as a barometer of importance. What scares us the most is usually what matters the most. If you're afraid to start a new project, it's probably because it has the power to change your life. Fear is a sign that you're dealing with something significant. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing every day that scares you. Cultivate self-belief. The foundation of resilience is self-confidence. When you believe in yourself, fear loses its power because you know you can handle any situation, regardless of the outcome. Important practical strategy. Create a journal of achievements. Write down, daily or weekly, small and big victories you've achieved. This reinforces your self-confidence and serves as a visual reminder of your capability. Practical example. Imagine you feel fear about taking on a new position at work. Reflect on all the times you've faced challenges before and managed to overcome them. Use this as evidence that you're ready for the next step. Inspire yourself. Maya Angelou said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." Reflection exercise. List 3 moments when you faced difficult situations and managed to overcome them. How did these experiences shape who you are today? Seek support. Overcoming fear doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. Surrounding yourself with positive people who believe in you and can offer guidance is one of the most effective ways to build resilience. Fundamental practical strategy. Identify at least one person with whom you can share your challenges. It could be a friend, mentor, or therapist. Emotional support and exchanging perspectives help demystify your fears. Practical example. If you're afraid to start something new, seek someone who has done something similar. Hearing their experiences can offer encouragement and practical ideas. Inspire yourself. As the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Reflection exercise. Think of a current situation that worries you. Write down the name of someone you could talk to about it. Then, send a message or schedule a meeting to discuss. Practice self-compassion. Being hard on yourself when facing fear is a common but counterproductive reaction. Self-compassion helps deal with mistakes and start over stronger, rather than getting stuck in judgment. Practical strategy. Whenever you make a mistake or face a challenge, talk to yourself as you would to a friend. Use welcoming and encouraging language instead of criticism. Practical example. If you fail at something, like a job interview, avoid thoughts like, "I'll never make it." And say, "This was a learning opportunity. I'll prepare better next time." Inspire yourself. Kristen Neff, a self-compassion researcher, says, "Self-compassion is simply giving yourself the same kindness you'd give to a friend." Reflection exercise. Think of a recent moment when you were very hard on yourself. Write a letter to yourself with words of encouragement, as you would for a dear friend. When you face fear, how do you usually react? Share a strategy you use to strengthen yourself emotionally. Let's exchange ideas and learn together. Using fear as a tool for success. When we look at fear from a new perspective, we realize it can be more than just an uncomfortable emotion. It can be a source of creative energy, boldness, and growth. Let's explore how to transform fear into a strategic ally on the path to success. Fear as a source of creativity. Fear often arises from new and challenging situations, and it's exactly in these moments that we are forced to think creatively to find solutions. Practical strategy. Whenever you feel fear, use it as a trigger to ask yourself, what creative solution can I find here? Practical example. Imagine you're nervous about presenting an innovative project at work. Instead of focusing on the fear, use the anxiety to refine your approach. Create a visually impactful presentation and plan responses to tough questions. Inspire yourself. Vincent van Gogh said, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" Reflection exercise. Choose a situation that currently causes you fear. List at least 3 creative ways to approach this challenge. Embrace calculated risks. Growth is directly linked to taking risks. However, this doesn't mean acting impulsively. The key is to calculate the risks, understand the possible consequences, and still move forward. Practical strategy. Before making a risky decision, do a simple analysis. List the pros, cons, and actions you can take to minimize potential problems. Practical example. Suppose you're considering a career change but feel afraid of financial instability. Make a detailed transition plan, save money, and look for opportunities while still employed. Inspire yourself. Mark Twain wrote, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but resistance to fear and mastery over it." Reflection exercise. Think of a decision you've been avoiding due to fear. List the possible benefits and risks, and note one small, concrete action you can take to start moving forward. Use fear as a tool for growth. Behind fear, there is usually an opportunity for learning and evolution. Facing it not only helps you overcome challenges, but also makes you stronger and better prepared for what's next. Fundamental, practical strategy. Whenever you face fear, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? See each challenge as a step towards personal growth. Practical example. Imagine you're afraid to ask for a raise at work. This fear can be an opportunity to learn more about your market value, prepare convincing arguments, and improve your negotiation skills. Inspire yourself. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Do one thing every day that scares you." Reflection exercise. Write about a situation where you overcame a fear and how it transformed you. Then think of a new challenge you can face as an opportunity for growth. Have you ever turned fear into an opportunity for success? Share your story in the comments to inspire others to do the same. To transform our challenges into achievements. Embracing risks and personal transformation. Embracing risks is an act of courage that pushes us out of our comfort zone and brings us closer to significant transformation. Fear can be a sign that we're on the right path, as long as we face it with intention and planning. In this final topic, we explore how to embrace risks and transform our experiences into opportunities for growth. Embrace more calculated risks. Taking risks can seem scary, but it's also what takes us to the next level. The key is to differentiate impulsive risks from calculated ones, those you evaluate, plan for, and face with clarity. Practical strategy. Before facing a risk, use a structured approach. List the worst possible scenario. Evaluate the likelihood of it happening. Plan a strategy to mitigate the negative consequences. Practical example. Suppose you're thinking about investing in a new personal or professional project. Analyze the costs and benefits, seek advice from experts, and prepare to deal with setbacks if necessary. Inspire yourself. As Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Reflection exercise. Think of a risk you've been avoiding due to fear. List the steps you could take to evaluate and minimize the potential challenges associated with it. Accepting and transforming through fear. Fear has the power to shape us, especially when we accept its presence and transform it into a tool for self-discovery. Instead of fighting it, try embracing it as part of the growth process. Practical strategy. Develop an acceptance ritual. Whenever you feel fear, acknowledge it without judgment. Say to yourself, "I see you, fear. You're here to protect me, but I choose to act anyway." Practical example. Imagine you feel fear about failing in a new career. Accept that the fear is trying to protect you from disappointments, but use this energy to prepare better and keep your focus on learning. Inspire yourself. Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Reflection exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a past experience where fear led to a positive transformation. What did you learn and how did you grow from it? Personal transformation. Facing the inner self. Sometimes, the biggest risk we can take is being honest with ourselves about what we truly want and who we really are. This kind of inner courage is the starting point for any significant transformation. Practical strategy. Set aside time for introspection. Ask yourself, what parts of myself am I afraid to face? What can I learn about myself if I choose to look at these parts with compassion? Practical example. Suppose you've always seen yourself as a shy person and are afraid of public exposure. Recognizing this self-image can be the first step in challenging the narrative and building a new identity. Inspire yourself, Carl Jung said. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Reflection exercise. Write about an aspect of your life that you're afraid to explore. Reflect on how it would feel to face it with honesty and courage. What are you willing to risk to achieve your next big transformation? Share in the comments how you plan to embrace risk and use it as a catalyst to change your life. Pause and think, what is the biggest fear holding you back right now? Comment here, and let's transform these fears together into fuel for change. That's why it's crucial to identify and ask yourself, what is the biggest fear preventing you from taking the next step in your life? Have you ever turned a moment of fear into an opportunity? How was it? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Share in the comments. Expand on these ideas with your practices and share in the comments. This helps inspire others through your journey and also encourages you to see fear in a new way, not as an obstacle, but as a boost for growth. Comment. Which of these practices do you plan to apply in your life? Always remember the importance of turning fear into fuel for success, and like this video if it brought value to you. Subscribe to the channel for more content on personal development and overcoming challenges. And remember, fear is just a reminder that something significant is about to happen. Use it as your ally. Fear is like a compass. It not only points to where you should go, but also reveals what you value most. So instead of running from it, follow the path it indicates. That's where you'll find your strongest, most confident, and undoubtedly happier self. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. And remember, life is too short to be lived in the shadow of fear. Let's transform it into the light that guides your next steps. If you liked it, check out the special ebook on overcoming fears that I left for you in the first pinned comment. And don't stop here. On your screen, you'll see 2 incredible videos to continue this journey of self-discovery and overcoming. Choose one and click to keep moving forward on your path to growth. See you in the next video, and remember, fear is not the end. It's just the beginning of your courage.